There. All right, now we're good. Perfect. Okay. The mic wasn't plugged in all the way apparently. So, we're good now. 3 minutes in. Glad we got that solved early. All righty then. All right, so as you can see, we're going to go ahead and attempt a JJ Watt jersey swap. I got my jersey on here because you can't do a jersey swap without a jersey. So let's just hop right into it. So I've got, here we go. Got that going. So I'm not like crazy the best at jersey swaps. I've done like, I don't know, 4. But we're going to give this a try and see what we can find. Let me make this light gray, and then I have some more shine on my face. Okay. So the way I do jersey swaps might be different from other people in the sense that I have my own method. Other people might use a different method, might be better. So the way I like to do jersey swaps is I basically clone stamp everything away and then use a couple aspects from other photos I find and put them on the jersey. I know some people do jersey swaps where they just use whole jerseys or big chunks of jersey and change it. I did specifically pick a photo without a face mask because it's going to be way easier this way. So I've got some photos here of just some random Cardinal players. And we're going to use these for the jersey swap. I tried to find photos that were big and had similar angles to this JJ Watt photo here. So we're going to start with that. First thing we're going to do is I'm going to drag a photo in here and we're going to use that for some coloring. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to duplicate this layer and we're going to, we don't need to rasterize it. I'm going to duplicate the layer. I'm going to make a new layer and we're going to get rid of all this stuff on his jersey. So what we're going to do is we're going to set it back down to 0. We're going to basically make this a blank jersey. So if we look at a Cardinals jersey, so this is all fine and easy. This is just standard stuff you would see on a jersey. But then they have this like little wing here. They don't have numbers on the side. They just have them up on the top. Whereas this, they have nothing on the top and have stuff on the side. Now there's some stuff if we spent hours and hours on this, we might want to pay attention to if they have mesh in specific spots or these little lines here. The content aware fill would probably work. I mean, we can try that. So the reason I use this clone stamp tool is we don't have to rasterize this layer. But let's try that. So I'm going to use my good friend here. And we're just going to quickly select his jersey. Just the numbers on his jersey. So we're going to get rid of these. We can use the content aware fill to get rid of this. I'm just going to reverse and keep some of this blue. Let me check something. Okay. So I have the tolerance like super low on the magic wand tool, which you can change, which should affect the quick select tool. But as you can see, it's selecting an awful lot of the same color. Now you can also use select color for this. This isn't really going as I wanted to. What do I want to do? Let me just grab the lasso tool. Because in the end, this isn't going to really matter. Wow, it's like really laggy for some reason. I don't know why. Yeah, I mean, it would make sense for the front of the jersey. And I'll show you, I'll show you, I'll see if we can show you both ways. Gotta make sure this is working. I'm just content aware all of this. 1 second. This is lagging a little bit more than I want, and I don't know why. Let's take a look here. Okay. Okay, so we'll go back here. I know what my computer is doing. It's really mad. This is super glitchy. Yada, yada, yada. We'll pull this out. Okay. So what? We can go to... Oh, we can just right click. I was using it today and I didn't have any issues. So we can right click, content aware fill. And then we've got all this other stuff. And I haven't played around with the stuff in here. But I'm just going to hit OK. And like that's why I don't like to use content aware fill, because it's like pulling this texture from down here. But it's a good start. I'm going to make another layer on top of this. And what we're going to do is we're going to use the stamp tool. I have the mode set to normal, current and below. Flow and everything set to that. So I'm going to use this brush. Zero hardness brush is what I like to use for this. So we're going to go in and we're just going to get rid of some of this stuff. He's got a bunch of folds in his jersey, so we're going to want to try and translate that over. And it doesn't have to be perfect, just because we're going to cover it up with numbers anyway. Which is the good thing about doing stuff in here. So I'm just going to go in here. And the content aware is good, but like up here, like we probably want this to look a little bit different. And some things I like to do is drop the opacity of my brush, so it's not so obvious that I'm doing it, and then just give it a couple passes. It worked really well here, the content aware did. And that looks bad. So I'm holding down the option key and clicking to select a new source for the stamp tool. So every time you see this, I'm holding down the option key, clicking and dragging over. And we gotta get rid of Texans anyway, so we'll just get rid of it here. Get rid of this. We want to make sure that the texture is the same for each area, or it's not different. So there aren't any obvious texture areas. Like right now, it doesn't look too bad. You can't really tell what we've been doing. You know, it's a bit darker here, so we'll go like this. Grab down here. This is a slightly different area where this fold is. We'll add that fold back in. And then I mean, a lot of it is just going in and doing stuff like this and clearing it off. It's kind of bold. I've done some jersey swaps in tight windows before, but those have been more... No, I would have done the same thing here. Hit that again. So I'm trying to maintain these folds. That's why I like to use the stamp tool, because I have control over where things go. It's like there's this fold here that we messed around with. I can try and make that look a little bit better. And we've got this fold that goes down into here that we can sort of get rid of. We don't want anything that's super obviously duplicated. So we'll pull back out. And honestly, part of this might be fine to not cover completely, just because we're going to cover it up with numbers anyway. So let me pause for a second and we'll take a look. So I could have just swapped the numbers, you know, kept them the same and just colored them white and black, but the thickness is different. So we have our dear friend. So I was trying to find photos of players who had 9s in their name. Like we got a 9 and a 2 here. And then we got ourselves some Sammy Bradford. So we're going to use Sam Bradford's 9s. How big is this photo? Okay. What are we in? We're in 300? Alright, so we're going to blow this up. Oh, that makes sense. So we're going to set this. Oh, I accidentally opened bridge. Whoops. Hey, Ryan, how's it going? So I'm going to set this to like 50%. Yeah, see, 99's retired, so that's a problem. You know, I don't know what number he's going to be. If we had that information. JJ Watt, new number, cards. See what Google has to say. Do we know? What's up, Graham? Yeah, so no idea. Oh, if the family said it was okay, then it might be the same, but I've seen a bunch of other, like, let me see if I can find something. Oh, I thought I downloaded a photo. If they've given them permission, then that's not a big deal then. We'll go with that. So like here's 1/9. Which does not match completely because it's a little bit smaller, but we'll fake the funk with that. As an old teacher would say. If he's wearing 9, okay, cool. If he's wearing 99, cool. All in all, it doesn't really matter because this is a jersey swap. Who cares? It's fake anyway. So let's make this a little bit smaller. It's like, how big are these 99s? So they're like that. Move these down, move it over a little bit. There, we got himself some 99s. So if we set this to like 30%, we can see where those 9s are going to go. So we got to get rid of this stuff over here. So we'll use our clone stamp tool. And this is where using like someone, if this was someone who was not, you know, if we had a 99 jersey, we could just go in and use that. And someone might use the whole jersey then instead of just doing what I'm doing and erasing everything. But again, to each their own. Doesn't really matter. It's just whatever you're comfortable with is really what matters. Which is true for most things in Photoshop. I mean, there's different ways to paint. There's different ways to do any sort of medium of art. Whatever you're comfortable with is what you should be using. So like a lot of the time that it takes to do a jersey swap, and I could be wrong, was doing details like this to make it accurate so it looks good. And we'll go in and we'll tweak with some of the lighting a little bit later. You know, this looks weird because, you know, it shouldn't look like that. I'm just going to do this. Set it to 20%. And just slowly get rid of all this stuff. I chose a photo without a helmet on purpose because they suck. So I'm not going to do one on this one because we've got his head exposed here. The only time I've really done that in the past, I did it on something I made for Rock Nation through STN Digital. I made a jersey swap, and let me find it for you. I've got it right here. The helmet's usually the hardest part, Sagaria. It's sort of finding photos. Like, this is something I made for Rock Nation through SGN Digital. So this was a full jersey swap. So I just swapped the helmet. And I think I found a photo of the top of the helmet from someone, and that's, I think, how people usually do that. Helmets with more stuff on it are, of course, more complicated than ones without. So I wanted to maintain all this cool stuff here and all this stuff we've got going here, so that's good. Just toss it in here. I'm still at 20%. I want to boost that up a little bit. Okay, we're gonna change what we're doing right now. So these are the 9s. Yeah, practice is probably good. Jersey swaps in general, a little bit of practice is all you need. So I'm going to go to the neural filters. This photo's a little smaller. So I'm going to do a little bit of JPEG artifacting. That's better. That just gets rid of some of the blocks that are all around. I'm going to turn this into a smart object, filter, sharpen. We'll hit it with a quick unsharp mask. And that's better. Yeah, basketball swaps aren't actually that hard. The last swap I actually did, I think that was the last swap I did, was Obi Toppin to the Bulls, which, as you know, did not work. Because he plays for the Knicks. So I did that, and I did that after I got some minor surgery, so I was coming off of anesthesia. Hate this photo. Let me use the polygon lasso tool, which this is gonna be like a first for you guys to see me use this instead of the quick select. I hypothetically could use the pen tool here, which would be super fun to do, but I'm not going to. I'll just use this instead. So what I'm doing is I'm cutting out this 9, so then I think we can have a better, more accurate representation of where the 9s are. And I'm doing this real hastily. And cut. Boom, look at that. All right, let's hit up this selected mask. I actually want to feather this a good amount. And let's shift the edge outwards like that. Because really what I want is I want this 9, but I also want a little bit around it so I can make sure the color and the lighting matches. So we'll mask that, save it, but we can't, so we'll save this as 9. That's saved in the Photoshop cache folder. We don't want to do that. We want to save it to this folder. So we can go here, we can right click, replace contents, drop that off, 9, click, enter, and now we have these 9s cut out. So now if I hit 0, this is what they're going to look like. They look like they might be a little bit high. We put one there. The top of the 9s can probably be like that. That's probably pretty good. All right, and since we're using current and below, I can see what we need to fix in this jersey and stuff that doesn't need to be fixed. So now I don't have to worry about anything under the numbers, and I can just fake all of this stuff. Yeah, some people love doing jersey swaps. I'm not one of those people. I'm gonna make a quick layer and stamp tool out this sort of back marking from where his pads are. That way it doesn't have that way you can't tell that these are the exact same photo. And I'm gonna tweak it so you can't tell anyway. All right, so we got our 99s. We have this almost ready to rock. I'm just gonna select this random area. You know, I can be loosey-goosey over here. So it looks pretty solid. Well, I know what. I know why I want to do this better, though. We're going to go in here and we're going to do some fine detail stuff in this, or are we? Can I fix it that way? Oops. See, like this looks bad up here. Fix, 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 fix. Most of this is going to be covered, so it doesn't matter, but I want these folds to look good. And that's, so the problem with me doing jersey swaps is I'm not terribly great at them, or they take a little bit more time to do for me to polish them off. But the issue with that is I also have very high design standards, so there's a gap between the talent and what I put out for jersey swaps. So that's why I don't do them a lot. It's like anything, you know, I could try illustrating or hand lettering. It's not going to look good. And I'm not going to want to do it because of the gap. I have an Instagram account for me. It's right there. Just Bradley Jack Design. Unless you're talking to someone else. Are you talking to someone else? You definitely might be talking to someone else. Anyway. This is pretty good. So when I say this is pretty good, this is adequate, I should say. Okay. We got our 99s here. That's good. Maybe we'll move one over just a little bit. I'm going to duplicate this, convert it to a smart object, and hide it. Hello, 16 Hockey Nerd Fan. Thank you. Thank you for joining me. Got this, get rid of this. All right, so we're making a new, we're gonna combine everything to this layer. We're gonna convert it to a smart object. I don't know why. We're gonna open this up. We're gonna go to adjustments. We're gonna go to gradient map. Gradient map.
Gradient map.
And then what we're going to do is we're gonna try and make a displacement map with this. And what the displacement map is going to allow us to do is to manipulate the bottom of the 9s so it looks accurate. And you can see right away, like, look at all this crap I put in here. That looks terrible. Like, awful. So we're going to save this as a PSD file. And we're going to name it JJ Displace. We're going to save it to my desktop. We're going to go here. We're going to turn this group on. These are the 99s. We're going to right-click this group. Actually, with this JJ, we convert this to a smart object and just blur it slightly. 3. There. Gave it a 3. So we got this. We're going to use a
displacement map.
And we're hitting all the golden ones today. So we're just going to displace it 10 by 10 and see how this looks. Then we're going to select that JJ displacement file. And you can see it displaced it. Like this. See that? It's not what we want. We don't want that. I'm going to blur this more. And save it. And we're going to double click the displacement and try it again. Let me tweak some of these. JJ displace. That's better. It's way smoother. It totally didn't. It was not done saving when I did that. If you don't do any blur, you can see it. It's super jagged. So that's better. I don't know if I want it to go that way. Horizontally. What if I do -10 and -0? That's a little bit better. So they're warping a little bit, but I don't want them to warp at all up at the top. Which is why I maintained these. So if I want these to line up, I gotta move these guys up a little bit. Set it to 0. Then we can use just a gradient and kind of brush it away, but these are set to not 0. That doesn't really look how I want it, though. Let's do this a different way. See, because really what would happen... We'll fuss with that later. All right. So what we can do is we need to match this color now. So I brought this photo in from before so we can match the color. So what I'm going to do, there's a couple different ways you can change the color. I'm going to use a, because that's the way I like to do it. You can also use a hue and adjustment layer. I'll show you the hue and adjustment layer one first. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to crop this. I'm just going to convert it to a smart object so this box changes so it's smaller. So here's the color we're going to use. So we want to use this as a basis. Now we got to change it on this color as well because I like this color red than that. So that's what we're going to use. So I could go here and I could go to adjustments, hue and saturation layer. I can go to blues. I can just click a bunch like this to add the color blue to this. This is the color range that is actually being selected. And then I can just move it until it's red. So red is here-ish. I can make it more saturated. Okay, that doesn't look bad. I might just do it this way instead. Okay, that's really red. Maybe we just dye down the saturation a bit. Oh, and I just lighten it. Oh god, don't want to do that. Oh, terrible. It's not lighten it at all. So there's one. Now it's Jersey's red. I don't have to fuss with all this other stuff. But I do have to mask it to just the areas I want to be red, because you can see in the background, as I point to my screen, you cannot see. It's changing the background so the whole smoke and everything's red. Which, it's not terrible. I'm going to keep this hue and saturation layer there, and we'll see which one we like better. So I'm going to delete this photo, actually. I cropped it too much. That's on me. I didn't want to crop it as much as I did. We want this one? No. This one's good. So we got this guy sitting here, so I'm just going to use a gradient map, and I'm going to turn it off, have the map selected, black and white. And what we want to do is I want to select a dark red to go very dark. I want like a middle color of whatever this red is. And I want a highlight red, which there really isn't one. This one's a little bit lighter. And then I want this to all mesh together. What is this? What is this layer here? Why do you exist? Oh, that was for the displacement map, right. Okay, so we turn on this gradient map now. And we can get rid of all of it. Oops, let me get rid of this. Okay, so we have this gradient map now that's using the actual colors. And that's just a normal gradient map. I could set it to color and I could set it to hue, but I like just setting it to normal. But then we can go into this gradient map and we can tweak some of the colors as well. I mean, one thing you can do... Oh god, I'm jittery all over the place. Man, let me see if I can fix that. Man, I do not know why it's lagging so much. That's a problem. Let me see if I can fix that for you guys. Weird, it should be a super good connection. Anyway, so this color is similar to this one. So what I can do is I can go in here and I can change the hue, or I can tweak the color so it's a little bit more red. And then I can just paint in the spots that I want to with this. So I can just paint on his jersey. And really what I'm going to do is I'm going to clip it and I'm going to cut him out. You see what happens when you use the gradient map? It changes everything. So you do have to be a little bit more delicate with it, which is where the hue and saturation comes in handy. Because when you're doing it that way, it only affects the color you have selected. Like, that doesn't look too bad. What does the hue and saturation look like next to it? Come on. So what I'm doing, I need to just hit delete. So these are the two compared right now. So this one looks a little bit better, so we can just tweak this gradient map because I really just want to use this gradient map. And then really what the issue is, it's with the whites. Ah, that's good. We'll just do that. Yeah, get out of here, Nightbot. No one's talking to you. Okay, let me get rid of this hue and saturation layer. And we're going to use the gradient map. So I'm just going to willy-nilly just change the color of this. Oh, I guess we got to do the pants too. I didn't think about that. We might have to find some photos of some pants. Or I can just do this. It'll be fine. And not do anything. So the process we're doing here is we're going to try and convert this blank canvas that we created. That is super annoying. I don't know why that's doing that either. Connection's fine. Let me save this and quit out of it real quick. This is my nice background. All right, let's open Photoshop back up again. I don't like that it's lagging at all. I can see why it's I can see that it's lagging, and I do not like that. I have it sized, so if I need to make anything for mobile, I can just drag this into this black box, and then I can make it something mobile. That's why it looks weird. It's usually my logo. Alright, so we'll open this back up. So here we got our JJ Watt again. Let's go down here. And I'm seeing some stuff that I'm going to want to fix. So like, this should be a dark corner, which is not what it looks like now. I'm going to drag the dark over a little bit so it's actually a dark corner, which is going to affect everything else. That doesn't look too bad. We're just going to paint up here. And what we should do is we should get rid of some of this other stuff. But I'm going to do something different and we'll figure that out. So what I'm going to do for the collar and for the shoulders is I'm going to do an actual just straight transplant of a different photo because they have unique collars and unique shoulders. We'll toss this in here like this. there we go. We've got that. We've got the 99. You know, it looked like this. We're here. So this is what we've done. So you see how the 99 here goes in like that. This one doesn't really move much, but that one is warped a bit. I might want to do that to this 99. Let me... Where's what I want? Convert to layers. There we go. You can convert things back to layers. So I'm going to manipulate this just a little bit. Might be a little bit too much. Drag this down like that. I'm going to see what this looks like. I'm kind of hopping all over the place, which is fine. So I'm going to crop this and move it up here. So this is the 9 I want to change. So I'm going to go to liquefy. And I'm going to liquefy it. So I can't see what I wanted there. Actually, no, I'm going to show the backdrop there. So I'm going to zoom in here. I'm going to use this tool. Is this the smudge tool? The forward warp tool. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to get rid of the backdrop. And I'm going to drag this way. Now that was too much, so I don't want that. So I'm going to change the pressure to 30. And now I'm going to do it again. Show the backdrop. We'll just liquefy it more and more. Maybe put it back out just a little bit more. And what this is basically allowing me to do is mimic this up there. Maybe bring this in a little bit. Now the issue with doing this is, as you can see, the thickness of that line is not the same, so that's a problem. Let me see if I can use this other one to fatten it up just a little bit. Just like that. Maybe make this one a little bit thinner. And you can see in there, like, you can see where I warped it, which is not what I want. Let me hit OK. Kind of looks the same up there. Let me see if I can fix that with a little bit of a curves layer. Invert the curves layer. Zoom in here. And then we'll go to 20%. Oops. And try and add in that. Now I don't like how this is like that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to convert this to a smart object. I can't find anything right now. So this is a smart object now. And I'm going to blur this. That's too much. 2 pixels. I'm going to invert the filter. And I'm just going to apply the blur to this area here where you can see where I manipulated it. And we're at 20% right now. But basically that's just going to blur it out. So that looks way better. So good. So we can get rid of this. We've got his 99 there. Doesn't look too bad. Could look a little bit better. Maybe we'll go in here, go into the liquefy, and we'll play around a little bit more. Now the liquefy tool has changed a ton since I've started using Photoshop. So there's always cool stuff in here that I might miss. But we're just gonna blow up this edge for a second. And that should be good. I got a jersey swap myself. This was originally a Broncos jersey and is now a Bears Jay Cutler jersey. So there's the jersey swap in general. Because we're all about here on this stream. So I can see there's a couple spots. Whoa, do not crop everything crazily. That's not what you want to do. A couple spots I need to fix there. And I'll fix some of these other areas later. So we've got this going on. This is good. This is what we want. But what do we want to do with that? So I'm assuming he's going to have the Walter Payton Man of the Year award on his jersey still because he won and he gets it on his jersey. So we're going to leave that. We're just going to paint around it. So, and I don't like using this. You just use a... Let me just use a standard hard brush. There we go. Now with this, I don't like how that looks. That'll be fine. We'll fix it. Thank you for joining, ZWB. Industrial P. Okay, so... As you can see, some of this stuff is not, like, super sexy to do. Which is why jersey swaps are kind of like, whatever. But I like... It's more of just knowing the specific tools to use. Now I could probably find like Larry Fitzgerald or something like that, who I think has this patch. But I'm just going to go around and keep this one because it's already on his jersey. So we don't need to fix anything with it. I think our lag issues are behind us, so that's good. So we got that there. We don't need this because that's not on the Cardinals jersey. So we're just gonna get rid of it. So we're using the clone stamp tool. We'll get rid of that. I'm gonna add a low opacity. Oops. Paint some stuff back in here. I usually use low opacity stuff when I want to brighten an area or darken an area. All right, so this is decent so far. Let me save.
Save as.
All right, so we saved. So now we really need to worry about the other elements that are on him. So we need to worry about the shoulders and we need to worry about the neck. So I've got these other photos, and as long as they're good sizes, they should work. This photo would work incredibly well. So we'll bring this to the front. I'm going to set the opacity to 50%, and I'm just going to try and line up these shoulders. And I'm going to size there's a couple ways I can size this. I would usually do it based on the NFL logo, but it doesn't exist. But like this is probably pretty accurate. But if you look, the shoulders are completely different. Let's do this. Let's make it a little bit smaller. I think really what it is JJ has his sleeves tucked up, where this player does not have his sleeves tucked up. These images since I'm just showing you guys how to do it, sort of as an educational purpose, I found from Google. If I were doing this for a client, I would have them give me and supply all the images for it. All right, I think that's pretty good. So I'm going to mask this all out. There are a bunch of people who've transferred, I would say, from the mobile editing community to the, I don't want to say real editing, but, designing more so. But since you've done some sort of, designing with whatever edits you've made, that should make it easier. So what I'm doing right now is I'm trying to line up these shoulder pads because they're completely different. I'm kind of trying to figure out where the back of his neck meets back here, And then making that all match here with how big these shoulder pads are. I just don't want to make, like, they're going to be huge. And then none of this is going to match up. So that's what the issue is with the jersey swaps, is finding images that are going to work. So I'm going to put this here. Let's try that. It's huge. It's like above his head. I like this image to use hypothetically. I just feel like it's going to be giant. Hey Chris, thanks for joining again from the UK. So what do I want to do here? So I want to mask out all this stuff clearly. If you guys want people who are very good at jersey swaps, designed by Johnny's really good. Thatcher Mack is very good. Pansky's pretty good. Better than me. All these people are way better than me at doing jersey swaps. I feel like people who have done work for like Bleacher Report and stuff. Like I know there's a guy, Akshay Ram. He works at Syracuse. He does some pretty nice quick jersey swaps. He does some stuff for Bleacher Report. There's some guys who are like the jersey swap guys. And like when people need jersey swaps, it's like go to Johnny, go to Thatcher. These are the guys you need to go to. So as you can see, it's been 50 minutes. And we haven't made as much progress as I would like. But again, jersey swaps can take a while. Like this is why I don't do a lot of jersey swaps. It's because they're very time consuming. I'm just going to fake the funk here. And blow this up. So there. It's all about making it look somewhat realistic. Now this doesn't look realistic at all down here, as you can see. Because we need this to be his arm. And it's too bright, but we can fix that. So let's see here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fade this stuff out. Let's do this. There. Now we have sort of a defined edge as to where that starts and stops. We've got it here. That doesn't look too terrible. I feel like it would be more like this, though. Just in my eye. Let's blur this out now. Let me see what's over here. Okay. Walter Payton Man of the Year. So they've got like these weird like stirrup things that go over. I don't know if those are... I probably need to include those. But you can see his neck is completely off. But we'll fix that. There we go. And these things as well are a pain in the ass. These like stirrup things. Let me do this. Make this a little bit darker so we can get a nice hard edge against where his jersey is. I saw a lot of people say that the Cardinals have hard jerseys to swap. So this, I mean, this might be one of them. From someone who doesn't do a lot of jersey swaps, I don't know if I'm the best person to answer that question. The Chicago Bears are pretty easy. They're pretty forgiving based on the jersey designs. I did that Ravens one, which kind of had some issues with it. Sorry, I'm going back in right now and I'm tweaking this gradient map that we have on the jersey just so I know where some of this, so we can actually get some more refined detail in here. Let me get rid of all of this and then I can see where his jersey ends and starts, or a rough point. And I can set the opacity of this to be a little bit bigger because it's giving a little bit of this blue off of from where the jersey is, so we can sort of emulate that. You guys got me in here wishing I made a Hornets design instead of doing this. And part of it, like, the reason I don't like doing jersey swaps is just they're so time consuming. All right, so that doesn't look too bad. Could look better. I'm going to say that a lot with a lot of this. I'm going to do an adjustment layer of exposure, and let's do... negative a bunch. Yeah, sure, that. We're going to invert that, and we're basically... I'm going to try and draw back in... where his shoulder would be. This is way too much. There we go. Just trying to make this more realistic. He's got a hard cut edge here, though. So I should probably make that similar. That's not too bad. Could be better. And that's the name of the game, is it could be better. All right, I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to go to Adjustments, Exposure, apply it to the shoulder here to match the darkness we have down here. Invert that, and then we're just going to paint that into this area. We also might go in here and get rid of some of this. Someone's totally going to notice some of these details and call me out on it, but it's fine. I'm doing this to show you guys how I would do it. That's one side, you know, not bad. But I do want to tweak a couple things. I want it to match the other layers. So I'm going to just darken it like that. That's not too bad. I could either darken it or I can just lighten it from the other one. I'll darken this instead. So let me duplicate this photo. Delete the layer mask. So his other shoulder actually might work too. You can see if we just use a low opacity soft brush, we can paint the shoulder in, and boom, look, we have a shoulder. I think part of the issue is with this jersey, the players aren't the same size. You know, JJ Watt's huge. So he's probably a bigger person than 55 here. So let's turn this back on, hardness back up, opacity back up to get rid of anything that isn't his arm. Let's paint this all back in to see what we're looking at here. Okay, so this we want to get rid of. We want to get rid of everything. We need to see where a nice clean break would be, which we will fake and say is this. This is the nice clean break. Oops. Oh, no, I wanted that actually. Go like that. Soft brush to blend this all in. Like this. You can see his neck is, 3 inches over. So that's the reason why people do full swaps where they take the whole jersey and do what I'm doing, is because it's easier. Now what I'm going to do, if I can hit the right button, is I'm going to mask this to the top here. Yeah, so we want it to stop like this. So there's sort of a natural break along the actual part of his jersey. And honestly, what might help is if I cut this out. I think that would help a little bit with what I want to show you and do. So we'll take these two same layers, we'll apply it here. Let me delete this exposure mask, this exposure layer. So the curves I had for just down here. Oh no, the curves were to darken everything, which is what we want. The exposure was just for parts down here, but it doesn't seem too bad. Now I'm going to take this curves layer and I'm going to get rid of it. That's real too much. I'm going to get rid of it in certain spots because I want it to match the color. So like that is where I want it to match a little bit better, but mostly I need to do this in order to do that. So looking at this now, things I'm going to have to fix. I have to extend this line out so it's more realistic. That doesn't look too bad though. Let me save where we're at. Let's see here. We got that going on. We got that. That's good. Let's see if we can find a nice neck. I mean, this one's not bad. So, oh, this is what we're trying to do. So I pulled this from Sports Illustrated. We're basically trying to make it look like this. So you can see it's the same, it's a similar pose. You can see how they use the same 99s because these are the exact same. They tweaked it a little bit there. And then they've got his neck on here. They've got his arm out. Maybe this might have been where they found a player and just photoshopped the arms on. That's not how I prefer to do them. But this is what we're basically trying to make it look like. Now you see over here, this doesn't look like, this looks real. This does not look real, which is bugging me. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna make a new layer. I'm gonna group everything below here into one layer. We're gonna name this a swap layer. So with this, I'm gonna hit select subject. And select and mask. So what we're gonna do here, 0.04. Do we even have anything selected right now? No, everything is selected. That's not what we want. All right, select subject, select and mask. And the reason I'm doing this is because I'm going to add in overall lighting details somehow in the next 30 to 40 minutes. So I want to mask them out completely. And that way it'll add more realism to it, as if I add global refinements over the whole thing. Just get rid of some of this stuff. That looks fine. Everything looks kosher over here. Fix this glove a little bit. Completely ignore this little thing because who cares? Doesn't need a strap on his glove. What do we got here? Sometimes I add stuff back in to see what things are supposed to look like, and then I can go in with this and change it. Yeah, I know a lot of those guys. They do jersey swaps super fast. But they do them all the time, so they have a very quick process down on how to do it. A lot of the times they'll have that stuff done ahead of time, so they don't have to fret. Like Akshay, who does stuff for Bleacher Report, he said back in like November or even earlier, I think it was in November, he said there was some chatter about James Harden to the Nets. So then they had to make a James Harden Nets jersey swap in November. So when that news dropped, they had one ready to go. Now, nobody knew he was going to go to the Cardinals. So I don't think anybody had a swap ready today or yesterday. Yeah, he's going to lose his glove. Again, you have more faith in me, Blake. This is why I don't do jersey swaps. Little things like that. Really part of it too is like people nitpick over dumb stuff. And jersey swaps are very easy to nitpick stuff on, which I generally do, but like I head swapped something for on a David Montgomery swap I made. I used a different photo of him wearing a practice helmet because I didn't want to swap his helmet. Nitpicking is good on swaps. It does give people something to talk about, though. If they're trying to be good, like, I'm trying to make this look decent. But again, if someone gives me criticism for it, I'm not really going to care because I'm not great at it. You know, I'm crawling where other people are running in terms of jersey swaps. Which is a good way to think about stuff in design in general. Okay, what do we got up here? Now we got his hair. There's a refine hair button. That sucks, so we're not going to use it. Just going to use the general refine brush. And this is already going to just look better because I cut them out. That's just how jersey swaps work. Yeah, I don't understand people who like only do swaps or like love doing swaps because it's an acquired taste like coffee. Yeah, Ryan's good at swaps. Ryan would probably appreciate hearing me tell him that. Ryan, a also fellow Chicago Bear lover. All right, so there. So we got this. So now we can go in here. We got our swap cut out. So now I want to drop this into the background like this. Come on. There. See, this looks, it automatically looks better. Couldn't you make the argument working smarter falls under the categories working harder? No. I forget who it was. Bill Gates, maybe? Gates or Elon or Jobs, one of those guys said he doesn't mind hiring lazy people because lazy people find the fastest way to do something. Okay, so I want the left here, so we're gonna name this. We're gonna name a layer, everyone. Name it left. And I'm gonna drop the exposure under here just a little bit. And then on his arm, here we're gonna even further that exposure down like this. That looks better. I'm not great at swaps. Like, I think the David Montgomery swap I made took me like 5 or 6 hours. Yeah, you can name layers. It's a new. You got to turn it on though in the settings. What are we gonna do? So now a lot of it is fixing the lighting. So I want to fix the lighting of some stuff over here. I'm gonna go back down to the exposure here on his arm like this. Overall, it's not looking too terrible. It's not looking great. Yeah, realistic lighting and colors matching. But I mean, like, boom, colors are matching. We've got like, we're gonna have realistic lighting, which I can do now, actually. No, I can't. I'm not gonna do that now. Okay. So this part's bugging me on this left, because it's where this hard part is right here. I'm just gonna like act like that doesn't exist. I know what we can do. But first, we need to fix these 9s. And how do we need to fix the 9s? We can see all this stuff here. I'm just gonna brush these out. I'm just gonna use a light opacity brush. Yeah, Terry. So, Terry. So, this is a Jay Cutler jersey, because, you know, he was on our team for like 6 years. I have really bad luck with buying Bears jerseys. Like, I bought a Julius Peppers jersey when he came to the team, but he was only around for like 4 years. I got my Jay Cutler's jersey. I got a really cheap Robbie Gould jersey because he's a kicker, but it's Robbie Gould. He's just really good. What other jerseys do I have? I don't have a lot of jerseys. The first jersey I have is a Devin Hester jersey, which is really the only jersey I need because he's the GOAT. Undisputed GOAT. It's fun to see people who know each other casually also in here. Blake. Blake, we don't talk about him in here. We also don't talk about a certain wide receiver we drafted in 2015. All right, that's not terrible. That's better. Yeah, I won a OBJ jersey. I think after he moved. God, we're lagging again. I do not like that. I'm actually upset. What is happening? Great. I'm gonna sit here and wait until the stream stops lagging. Jesus. Yeah, I gotta love that. Let me take a look at something. I thought we had this issue fixed. Apparently we not. I made a Nolan Arenado design, I believe. I did one on my 365. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out why this is happening. Nice, Ryan. No, I don't really have anything open though. That's the thing. It's just OBS. That's the. Let me close out of that. See if that. While we wait. Garrett can answer that question, Alex. Just all over the place. Garrett, are you in here? Can you tell him if I'm a PS4 or Xbox gamer? Oh, hey, how's it going? I don't have a PS5 or an Xbox. I game on my Mac, so I don't game at all. Okay, we're kind of back. All right. So now we need to get. I mean, I really don't like how this looks, to be honest. Which is what happens when you try and do this in an hour and a half. Okay, so let's try and find that. Let's try and find what we want. See, I want a nice clean neck. See, they just changed the colors. Like, that's not what the Cardinals neck looks like. They just changed the colors and tweaked it a little bit. Yeah, I need to put some more shadows on the numbers. All right, bear with me. I'm gonna restart my computer and see if that helps. So stay tuned. Let me figure out what Safari is and how to open that and see what you guys are looking at. That's not terrible. Let me mute me. Okay. So I'm gonna fix his neck area, which we might use that same photo we've been using for his shoulders as well. Oh, this is delete layer mask. Let's put this in the swap here. Let's set this to 5. Actually, no. What does this look like? Well, it's just a standard whatever, and it's just got these lines here. So that's really all we need to add. We just need to tweak this, which we can do with that gradient map layer right here. Which, as you can see, is doing nothing because it's already red. It'll change the hue a little bit, but we can go in. Let's invert this. Go in here and paint on this. And we're going to try and match the darkness like that. So then we can just go like this, so it's the same color-ish. Kinda, sorta. We just want it to blend in. And as you can see, I'm doing this very hastily right now. So that's because I'm going to come back in and get rid of it here. Actually, I should be able to... Oh, no, that's where the gradient map is. That's right. Why are you the way you are? What is wrong with you? Ah. That's why. Okay. And I do apologize that this is lagging. It's frustrating me more than anything. Because I don't know why it's doing it. And because the playback on this is going to be terrible, so I might just have to do another one of these again. So I'm trying to get rid of this like awkward, super dark ass line. Maybe we can fix a couple things on here. Nope, don't like that. All right, that's better. It's not terrible. It's pretty bad though. It's not great. Yeah, it's not great. Gotta get all these edges. If you have just like little things off, like this doesn't look great right here on these edges. So I really have to go in here and find the fine line in between these as to where it needs to go. This is okay so far. See, the problem is I don't want this to bottom out like it is. But I kind of have to. There. Save, back up. Super laggy again. So this kind of looks like a 9, so I'm not going to change it. This is not a 9 at all, so we gotta fix that. I'm gonna get rid of the adjustment layers, put it underneath. And at this rate, I would just find another player that had a number 9 on. But at this rate, with the frustrations and happenstance, I'm just going to get rid of it because I don't want it here. I want it gone. No number for you. And I can go up here to the cutout we have and just go like that. Go like this. Okay. Now we need to, oh, oof. Nope. Don't like that. Alright, that's this here. You guys can't even see what I'm doing because it's lagging so much. Alright guys, you know what? I'm going to cut it here because like it's lagging too much. So we're gonna I'm just gonna stop this because I can't show you guys anything because it's just lagging. No, because the other streams have been fine. And it's not like I'm doing anything overly complicated that I was doing before. I think I know what I could have done, which could fix it. But it's a little late for that, because we're already an hour and 20 minutes into the stream. So... there we go. So yeah, I'm gonna cut it here because my computer's betraying me. We'll try this again. I don't know. Maybe I'll do this weekend. No, Terry. It's not the computer. It's not the RAM. I've got plenty of RAM. I will have to troubleshoot this separately. But thank you guys for sticking around for when you did. I mean, I guess we could just ride it out. This is, I mean, because this is completely unwatchable. You guys can't see anything I have on what's going on. So let's pretend we're done, because look, we've got all this cool stuff. It's close enough. So we'll just go with the, well, whatever. We're almost, I mean, we're kind of done. we'll just use the excuse that the my computer was lagging, so I couldn't show you guys and couldn't do fully what I wanted to do. So there, jersey swap, right? How's that? So now, final touches, what I'll do is I'll do some tweaks that I would do that are universal. As long as you guys can hear me fine, that sounds good. So I'm just going to give it this halo glow around the edges, which is going to just give the illusion of lighting around it. And let's make that only effect with blend if, which you guys can clearly see as I can see the live view. You guys can see everything that we're doing. Yeah. Ryan, I would usually do that. But with how frustrated I am with this, I'm probably not going to. Oh yeah, I mean, I should change it. There's a bunch of stuff I should change on this, but if I can't show you guys how to do it, then there's no point in doing it. I'm just gonna add some lighting. Some quick like lights like this over his face, you know, maybe in his arms here or something or other. I don't know, let's go ahead and add a color lookup to glue this all together like that. Like there, see, he's in a Cardinals jersey, right? Kind of. I mean, I'm sure I could just go like this and just like, wow. Wow. Logo. Let's convert that to a smart object and make it. Oh, I don't want that. Why are you the way you are? Convert this to another smart object, and then I can actually manipulate it. So weird. Why are you the way you are, Photoshop? There. We got the NFL logo on here that looks completely different from everything else that is on this. NFL logo. Hastily thrown together. Hastily. Get rid of some of the edges so we can not see it. Actually, I can turn that layer back on. Look at that. Rockstar stuff. There, right? Jersey swap. Sort of swapped. Let's pick a selective color layer and add a little bit of magenta back to it because your color is a little bit magenta. Remove a little bit of the yellow, take away some cyan. That sounds good. Let's make a completely new layer. David, we've been having some lag issues, so it is not in any way what we wanted. Gonna convert this to a smart object. Let's do some final camera raw stuff to it. Let's just do some like generic stuff I would do. There we go. And then what? Calibration? Is that what we've decided is a thing people use? I'm just playing around with crap now. Let's do that. Let's go to color grading. We want the midtones to be more red. We want the shadows to be more red. No, let's make the shadows. Let's make the shadows more yellow. Let's make the highlights green like that. Let's hit enter and then boom, look at that. Jersey swap. We did it. So there's stuff I would go back and change if one, I had more time, and two, if it wasn't lagging. I would spend a lot of time on these shoulders to make these actually more realistic. They're okay right now. I would go in and tweak the shadows on these to match below. I might cut them up a bit so things match a little bit better. But all in all, it's not too bad. It could look worse. Let's cover up some of the mistakes and some of the stuff on here. Let's throw this on top. Just this big, nice light bokeh. Let's throw this in front and set that to screen. Adjustments. Drop the levels in. Nah, that's a bad one. We don't want to put that one in there. Now let's put some smoke in front of them. Smoke brushes. Let's see. I thought I downloaded some smoke brushes. Here you go. Here's some Thatcher brushes that would come in handy, apparently. I want some smoke brushes. I know I have a couple in here in my pack. I think they might be reversed, though, on accident. Those are Ethan's. Smoke. Hey, here you go. Smoke plume. Blow this up a bunch. Yeah. Love how that looks terrible. So let's go to let's go to fog. I love to hear that you use the fog, specifically my fog brushes, all the time. I like using just this fog here. Let me make it so you guys can see what's going on. Fog. Fog. Look at that fog. I'm going to copy that, delete it, go in here and paste it in here and save, and then go back, and then all the stuff will be applied to that as well. Cool. All right, well, I think we're going to call it a day with that. Sorry it lagged so much. Try and get that solved for next week, because that is incredibly frustrating. So if we want to see a before and after, you know, the before and after is not bad. Basically changed the numbers. Now, do their jerseys say Cardinal on them? Because that, you know, that's a problem. You should probably figure that out. All right, let me add that in real quick, because that's definitely something that's needed. You gotta have the team name. So we'll blow this up. And I'm just going to use the polygonal lasso tool, which we discovered is called polygonal, based on my sister-in-law, who is a speech-language pathologist. It's polygonal, not the polygonal. So just get it right, kids. I was saying it incorrectly for the for fact. This is a giant brush. So we'll drop this down, real hastily paint around. Boom. Look at that. Look how realistic that looks. Super cool. All right, great job. Convert to smart object. Nope, don't like that. Yeah, Zagifi, it's lagging real bad, so it's not great. Not a good stream. It's not going to be one. I might not even upload this, or I'll probably have this up. It's too laggy though. There we go. We're done. So we got Texans, Cardinals. Basically, it's changing the shoulders, doing tweaks afterwards that make it look good. But thank you guys for sticking around for lag time with Bradley Jack Design. Hopefully next week we will have not lag time and have let's make something cool. Last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to save this out as a ping file. That is a ping file, not a PNG file. It's a ping file. And then I'll post this and we'll see how it looks, JJ Watt, after. But thank you guys for joining me on this lag festival. I hope you guys learned something. I'll leave it up. I won't expect much from it. I did some camera raw on it a bit, so thank you guys for selecting to spend your time with me. Garrett, what's wrong? What is wrong, Garrett? I'll wait until you tell me what is the matter, sir. All right, just kidding. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you guys next week. Hopefully next time we don't have these lag-ins, but thank you for sticking around with me. Hopefully you learned something from this jersey swap. It's not great. It's okay. It's decent. But again, I have stupid high standards I like to hold myself accountable for. But I'll post this on Twitter, a before and after, and I'll use lag as a big excuse as to why it looks this way. So thank you for joining me.